Everybody, this is Jim. I'm doing a quick review of Ubuntu 10.10, and let me start by talking a little bit about the install before I get into the new features or anything. I'm not going to walk you through the whole install because it's boring and it's a waste of your time. But there are a couple of things I want to draw your attention to. When you first boot into Ubuntu 10.10, you get this wonderful menu, and I'm showing you a picture of it here from the text version of this review on desktoplinuxreviews.com. Basically, it lets you try it or install it. Ubuntu 10.10 is a live CD distribution, which means you can burn it to a CD and run it without actually installing it. So that's a really nice touch, and I think newbies to Ubuntu will really appreciate it. And hey, if you try it without installing it and you find you don't like it, you've only lost a little time. You haven't, spent too much time bothering with it. Anyway, so bear that in mind. This is a nice menu. I'm going to click back to the text review and just show you a little bit of the install. This is a little bit faster than actually walking you through the install in video. So anyway, you get the welcome screen, and then you've got this screen, which is very helpful because this lets you, first of all, verify that you have the drive space for it, that you have a power source, you're connected to the internet, but you also get to download updates while you're doing the install and install some third-party software. Highly recommended if you want to save a little bit of time so you don't have to bother running an update manager and whatnot after you complete your install of Ubuntu 10.10. The rest of the install is very easy. It's very fast. It's vintage Ubuntu. It's only gotten better from the last release of Ubuntu. So, doing the install is not a problem. One nice thing while you're doing the install, you get to scroll through a slideshow that gives you information about different software, different features, and everything else. And unlike some of these slideshows, you can control which direction you're going or which slide you're viewing at a particular time. So it adds a little value there, and it's also better than being bored staring at a blank screen or whatever. So that's the install program. It's very it's very easy and very comfortable to use. Now let me talk briefly about some of the stuff that's new in this release. GNOME's been updated to 2.32. Evolution has been updated to 2.3. We've got a sound. Let me pull up Rhythmbox here. What they did was they added a music player controls up here in the sound control, the desktop sound control. So you can, if you're running Rhythmbox or something and you want to fast forward through a song or whatever, you can just do that. It's very easy. So that's one of the new things, and I'll just minimize this as we kind of go through. The other thing about this is you've got new themes, new icons, and new wallpaper. This wallpaper that you're looking at right now is different than the last version. Honestly, it's sort of 6 of one, half dozen of the other to me, because it's pretty. It's very Mac-like, the wallpaper, which will piss some people off, but really doesn't bother me. But again, you'll probably change your wallpaper in 10 minutes anyway, so not really a big deal. But, the new theme and everything is nice. It looks good. This is a very clean-looking desktop, very slick. So that's a couple of the new things. The other thing, and I'll jump right into it here, is the Ubuntu Software Center. And this has been changed a little bit. Some of the changes I like, others I don't. Let me wait until it finishes loading up here. Basically, it's got a new featured and what's new view when you first boot into it and you're looking at, let me go back because I had clicked on something. You have this featured thing here that will, let you scroll through different applications and whatnot. It's okay. I honestly really, and the same thing with what's new. You've got some things you can scroll through here. It's all right. I don't really like it that much. I kind of prefer this, where you look in more like the way Linux Mint does it, and you can see just a full list, and I can quickly scroll down. I don't like clicking little tiny dots to see, what software is available. But anyway, it's cool. It's an extra thing. I'm sure most people will like it. If you look at the Software Center interface, it's broken down. You've got different categories of software here. It's pretty obvious what each thing is. You can do a quick search. In this release, they've also got software for purchase. There are only two things here, DVD player and a puzzle game, but that's kind of a harbinger of things to come. I think you'll see more software to purchase in there, and I'm fine with that. Some open source purists will probably hate the fact that software is being sold, but I don't mind it. As long if no one's forced to buy it, so you can skip it entirely and just install free software if you want. It's all right. So anyway, here you can see the software, the stuff that's provided by Ubuntu, and you can look at your installed software to see what you have on your system, and also your history if you want to see what you have on your system. So we'll just look at this category and I'll show you about adding and removing software. Click to go to the web browsers, and if you want to install Chromium, the open source version of Chrome, you can just click the install button, and you have to type in your password, and that should install for you. You can also click the more info button while it's installing and see screenshots of the program. The only thing about the Ubuntu Software Center is it doesn't have built-in user reviews and ratings like the Linux Mint one does. So it is a little bit inferior in that sense, but overall it provides a pretty good experience adding and removing software in this release. I think it looks good, and even if you haven't used it, it won't take you long to get used to kind of moving around with it. Let me show you real quick. I'm going to move on from the Software Center here because it's pretty obvious what it is. One of the other changes to this release has been a better integration of Ubuntu 1 with the desktop, and you can kind of see Ubuntu 1 is Ubuntu's online service, and you can sign up for a free account if you want. I've got an account. I'll be damned if I can remember the name, so I can't log in with it. But you see the folder right here. But let's say you want to upload more stuff. You can right-click a folder in your directory, scroll down to Ubuntu 1, and choose to synchronize that folder so that your stuff is synced back to the Ubuntu 1 online service. It's a very nice way of integrating it into the Ubuntu system, into your local desktop system. So bear that in mind. It's one of the bennies of this new release. I know some people probably don't use Ubuntu 1, but it's pretty good. It's got a lot of stuff. Let me talk a little bit real quick about the bundled software. This is the software that comes with it by default. F-Spot has been replaced by Shotwell, so you won't be able to use F-Spot unless you go into the Ubuntu Software Center and download it yourself. But I think Shotwell is a fairly good replacement. 6 of one, half dozen of the other, as far as I'm concerned. I don't really use either program that much. The rest of the programs are pretty, you get Firefox, you get Gwibber, the social client. Gwibber has been updated, so it uses the new Twitter authentication for those of you who use Gwibber. That you'll find that useful. And of course you've got openoffice.org here, and you've got a pretty good selection of sound and video programs, multimedia programs, TV video editors there, Rhythmbox, the movie player. It's an okay selection. It's not as good as what Linux Mint will give you, but it's okay. And of course you can go over to the Ubuntu Software Center here, and you can grab, goodness knows how many programs are available here for multimedia, so you really shouldn't have a problem. One of the downsides of using generic Ubuntu, that's what I call it, generic Ubuntu, is that it usually doesn't come with Flash installed, and I think that little menu is already telling me that. We'll go to our obligatory Lady Gaga video, which I always use to see if Flash is installed. Oh, nope, there it is. Okay, so you've got to install Flash. That may actually be part of the third-party software that you're going to install, or that you have the option to install when you're doing the initial install. But I didn't install the third-party software because I wanted to see what was available by default. So that's that. Let me see what else we have here. You can, if you want to install or you want to use other software repositories, you can do that in the Ubuntu Software Center, but it's probably not a good idea if you want to, you know, add in a your own particular repository. I don't recommend it unless you really know what you're doing, because you could end up screwing up your system. So let's see. What have I covered here? Overall, this is a good release. It got some crap online from some people who said, well, why are they releasing 10.10? 10.04 was plenty. They haven't done enough. They haven't changed enough. I disagree with that. I think the changes to the Software Center, I think the changes to some of the other things make it worth upgrading to if you're using 10.04. The Software Center, let me see, the Software Center changes and the change to Shotwell, the volume manager, the general updates, and also the booting process being a little bit faster, a little bit cleaner. I think there's enough here to warrant an upgrade. There's also okay, the other thing that they did was they included the Ubuntu font here, which I think is an attractive font. I think it looks good. So that is one of the other changes that I think make it worth upgrading to. You know, it's not, this isn't the killer release from hell that will wow you, you know, if you're happy with 10.04. I think it's worth an upgrade. If you're looking for themes, ambiance is still the default theme, and I think it looks good, but there's plenty of other stuff if you want to change it. Same with the background. You've got a little bit of wallpaper choices there. On the whole, I think this is worth an upgrade, and I feel comfortable recommending this to beginners, intermediate users, or advanced Linux users. It's pretty much about as easy as you get in terms of installing it and managing it. So anyway, that's it for this review. Check it out, and hope this was useful. If you want to read the full review, which has quite a lot of screenshots, about 34 screenshots, and goes into more detail than this video review, go to desktoplinuxreviews.com if you're viewing this review on YouTube, and you should be able to pull up the full review pretty easy.